wide open because he sucks.
I don't spend much time staring at guys' mouths.
That's why I can justify Tyrod. I mean, he's a poor man's Russell Wilson, who's a poor man's Cam Newton, who's a poor man's Michael Vick from Madden 2004.
But I still love you, Martavis. I'm so happy you missed the playoffs for so many reasons. I'm Joe. Oh, yes! Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It has been a while, but we are here in the flesh. This is the Fantasy Football Apocalypse. I am Trent Scott, and that is Jeremy Scott.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back. It's been a long time. I forgot about the show. No, we've had just some unfortunate events, sick people, and work events, and but anyway, we're back. And Trent, I have good news for you, and I have terrible news for everyone else. This is our last show
of the
season, and I lost. Trent beat me.
Overwhelmingly, some might say.
Pretty bad. I had some good picks this year, but this wasn't my best year of fantasy, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So, all totaled, this is week 14, so we've done 13 weeks of picks. Now, Jeremy did not pick anyone week 4 because having a kid's so important that he can't do a show. So, Jeremy and I picked head-to-head 12 times. Out of those 12 times, I won 8. 8-4 heads up against Jeremy.
Yeah.
Maybe we should just make Aaron your permanent replacement, because the 1 week he did pick, he beat me.
I would say, overall, you had some of the higher guys that went off, but I was more consistent throughout the year. So my picks...
That literally makes no sense.
That makes a lot of sense. So tonight, we're actually going to do it a little bit different. We are going to make our picks live on the air. I, Scout's Honor, have had no prep work.
Yep.
Trent is a liar.
Please, my record speaks for itself. I don't need to prepare to beat you.
You are 1-2 all time. Forget you. So good win this year, and I'm looking forward to next year. We'll have a little more structure. I'm hoping so. Producer, we may need to get a backup producer just for certain times. But anyway, Trent, any parting victory words?
Yeah, it's always fun beating you. We're making fantasy football great again.
Yes.
Other than that, let's so tonight it's going to be a looser show. We're doing the picks live. We've never done this before on air. We always do our picks beforehand, but you guys are going to get to see how the sausage is made. We're going to do our picks on air like we do them every week. So you'll see how we do our pick draft, all that kind of stuff. And who knows, if this works, if this is fun, we might do this full time next year, but no promises on that. We'll just see how it goes. However, before we get to this week's picks, let's take a look back at last week, my crowning achievement, clinching mathematically this season's head-to-head matchup. So, Jeremy, let's take a look at your quarterback from last week.
All right, Case Keenum. I finally had the balls to pick him, and I did. And he got me 17. You can't argue with that. And by the way, the Vikings are legit. I think they're just as good as anybody else to win the Super Bowl. Me or Trent?
Jeremy, you're talking to the producer on air with a hot mic. You're such a great host.
Yeah, Case Keenum. So anyway.
Anyway, excellent transition there.
Oh, well, I was done earlier. I thought you were gonna pick it up.
Oh my God. Yes, Case Keenum was a good pick. One of the couple of spots that Jeremy did manage to beat me at last week. Let's go ahead and take a look at my quarterback from last week, shall we? Shall we?
Oh, what a horrible
Jimmy
host.
Garoppolo. So this is kind of unfortunate fantasy-wise because you see 9 points, you think he didn't really have that great of a game. As you see his former the man he used to back up for a few years, Tom Brady. He is back in full force. Still haven't hung him on the wall, but I had to include him for the last show. But anyway, Garoppolo, this is a game, we see sometimes guys have games that Jeremy would say are bad games in real life, but good fantasy games. This was kind of the opposite of that, where Garoppolo actually played a good game of football in real life, but just didn't get rewarded in fantasy because he didn't have any touchdowns. But he looked sharp, completed 78% of his passes, had just under 300 yards. And more importantly, his first start with the 49ers, who had one win coming in, he picks up the W. So the fantasy total wasn't there, but it's a pretty good, real, actual football game from Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I mean, it looked all right. He did throw that pick. He looked even better a week ago when he went 2 for 2 with that touchdown pass.
Yeah.
His time expired. That was awesome. I'm a Jimmy G fan, though, and I want to see the Niners rise back to prominence. Basically, he outscored Tom Brady, so good week for him. All right, moving on. My running back pick of the week was Devontae.
What a pick it was!
Booker. Not a good pick. Jamal Charles got those 5 receptions out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on in Denver. I don't think Elway does. The whole town is spiraling out of control. So all positions, Manuel Sanders had 0 fantasy points, stuff like that. Not a good pick.
Yeah, I'm a Demaryius Thomas owner. He had 10 targets and had 2 catches off of 10 targets.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian was an absolute disaster.
Gosh.
And the funny thing is, his final stat line actually looks better than he actually was because he completed his last 6 passes.
Wow.
At one point, he was 13 for 35 with no touchdowns and 3 picks.
13 for 35.
But then he completed his last 6 passes to get to 19 for 41.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
still completed less than half his passes, no touchdowns, 3 picks. And yet, they're still sticking with him as the starting quarterback this week. They're still not going to go back to Brock. So if that doesn't get you benched, I don't know what will. But apparently it's not. So
marry one, take one on a date, and kill one. Brock Osweiler, Simeon, Paxton
Lynch.
You're screwed up on all those.
Oh, that is really tough.
That's bad.
Man. Okay, I guess you have to marry Trevor Siemian because he was half decent last year. So you think you can maybe fix him up?
Right. At least throw some makeup on him, I
think you kill Paxton Lynch because he's just been terrible.
Yeah.
And you
he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Because maybe.
But I mean, a very slow death. A slow death.
Painful.
Sure.
Yeah. Painful.
Potentially a lynching, just to make a statement.
Oh, see, nice cut there. His name's Lynch. You want to win? Yeah.
Thank you.
I see what you did there. It's
all right.
clever. Only your picks are as good as your puns.
Stand up, maybe next podcast.
Maybe.
All right. So, your running back pick.
My running back
friend of mine.
Yes, a guy that you picked several times. I finally pick him. He does excellent. Matt Forte, 17 points. You'll gladly take that from a guy that's readily available on the free agent wire. So just an absolute shootout in the Jeff's Cheats game. As Sam Houston's finest, Josh McCown, came through in the clutch, picking up the big win against the Chiefs. Matt Forte, though, 17 points.
Yes, a great performance for old man Forte. I love Forte. He reminds me of Fortnite, the video game. Producer Brad probably knows what that is. I love the game. But anyway, Forte is having a good year, man. Look at his game log. I swear you won't be disappointed aside from the weeks you will be disappointed.
The time he's been injured.
Yeah. But again, those have been injuries. Like when he actually plays, he's been legitimate. So anyway, moving on. My second running back, we probably should speed this part up, Trent, is Tariq Cohen, who had a very, very nice kick return, probably the kick return of the year, punt return, excuse me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I kind of thought he would get one. So that's why I picked him, and he got that punt return. So that's pretty much it for that pick.
That's pretty much it for that pick. All right, let's move on to my second running back in that case. As producer Brad gets it ready. Austin Eckler. This was the other spot that Jeremy beat me at. I tried picking Eckler 2 weeks in a row. It didn't work out either time. I am off the Eckler bandwagon. Feel free to drop him. It turned out that little hot streak he had was just a little midseason fluke thing, it looks like, as Melvin Gordon is definitively still the guy.
Yeah, he is. And if he goes down, Eckler becomes, amazing. But until then, he's just going to be, as subpar as this Wi-Fi internet streaming right now. So anyway, moving on to the wide receiver pick of the week for myself was
I made fun of your running back pick. How about this wide receiver pick, Jeremy?
Corey Coleman. I underestimated Josh Gordon getting 30 targets.
12.
Corey Coleman not getting any, but he literally was just feeding Josh Gordon. So Corey Coleman probably can back off that guy, but he was doing well prior to that. So what can you do? One of those games.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do. Instead of picking Corey Coleman, you can pick a real stud wide receiver, Jermaine
Javon.
Javon. My other Jets pick of the week. How about this? I picked 2 Jets, getting combined 41 points out of them. Jermaine Kearse, 9 catches, 157 yards. He scores 24 points without even scoring a touchdown. Just a huge game out of Mr. Kearse. He looks like he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year, as him and Robbie Anderson have quietly become, well, I mean, what would you say, one of the top 10, maybe top 5 wide receiver combos in the
My goodness. What is wrong with you? Gosh, I know. Something about Robbie Anderson just always makes you brighten up. But
yeah. Anyway, Robbie Anderson and Jermaine Kearse. I mean, where would you put them in wide receiver combos?
Probably
in the NFL?
Probably Magnum size at least. But yeah, I think they're up there, man. I mean, who else is there? There's Golden Tate, Marvin Jones are kind of like average, right? They're legit. Sanu and Julio are pretty good. But yeah, dude, they're up there, man. I'd say they're top 10 for sure, duo.
Brown and Smith-Schuster, you'd have to give them some love.
Right, absolutely. Martavis is done. We need to put
R.I.P. Martavis.
Shoesmister in the theme song next year. Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to my actual wide receiver pick of the week, because he got better than 0, was D.D. Westbrook, which is a pick that I like. He almost had a touchdown too, so he could have had 19, but he didn't. He had 13, which is double digits. Not, what more can you ask for in this scenario? D.D. Westbrook, he's I really like that Jaguars receiving core moving forward, man. They got Marquise Lee, D.D. Westbrook, Allen Hurns, and Allen Robinson. And if they can just get rid of Blake Bortles and get Eli or somebody, they're going to be legit, man. With Fournette, they're going to be good.
Yeah. How do you feel about Fournette? He's really struggled the last, he got off to a big start, but he's really struggled the last month or so.
His ankle, man.
That was his problem in college. He couldn't stay healthy.
True. Also true. And it was ankles, too, in college.
Yeah. So, I mean, if
that's his issue, man.
So, and when you're a running back and you're injury prone, it's not a good recipe.
No.
Running backs probably take the most punishment outside of linemen of any position on the field.
You got to think about it, though, too. I mean, every single running back has gone, in their career, there is no LeBron James of running backs. All of them go through an injury. Le'Veon Bell's had 2.
Peterson's torn his ACL at least twice.
David Johnson's already had 1. Jamal Charles had 2 or 3. All those guys, man. It's like, when is it going to happen? Not if. So, anyway. All right. Well, Trent, who's your second wide receiver? And we got to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, my second wide receiver was Josh Doctson of the Redskins. 11 points. It's an okay effort, but he's still picking up a little bit of momentum. He's been right around double digits the last 3 or 4 weeks, as Terrell Pryor is done, probably with the Redskins for good, I would have to imagine. Total bust. So Doctson, an okay pick, not the best, but Jeremy?
Trent? Oh, you cut out.
Oh, okay. Well, let's move on to tight ends, shall we?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Who was your tight end?
My tight end. Ooh, I like this one because he got a touchdown. Mr. Julius Thomas, who had himself a heyday after catching that touchdown on that ball. If you haven't seen it, he humped it like crazy.
I did see that.
Yeah, that was super weird. Super weird. But Julius,
has he got fined? Because I've been expecting to see him get fined, and I haven't seen any news yet.
No, I don't know, but he had, I'm not sure his stat line, but he did catch a touchdown, 11 points, double digits, and I'm not sure if he got fined. So I guess we're at the day and age you can't tackle anybody with a hard, cold shoulder, but if you hump a football, you're safe. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know in the Super Bowl a few years
this
ago,
is Goodell's league.
Doug Baldwin got fined for pretending to, how shall I put this in the nicest term possible, defecate the football. I don't know if you remember that. He got fined for doing that. You don't remember that?
Can you, like, use your hand and show me what that looks like?
I will not. I will decline. But anyway, I don't know if you noticed it. Jeremy's total was 55 points for the week.
Not my worst.
Tight end, Ricky Seals. Yes, not your worst. My tight end was Ricky Seals-Jones.
Love
coming off 2 massive games, took a step backwards, only scored 6. But all total, I win the week 72-55. Now, let's quickly run through our optimal lineup for last week, shall we?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there we go. So at the quarterback spot, Jimmy Garoppolo versus Case Keenum. Keenum 17 would have been the optimal pick there. Running back 1, Forte easily tops Devontae Booker 17-1. And RB2, Tariq Cohen's 13 edges out Austin Eckler's 5.
All right, so rotisserie style, I'm beating Trent 2-1 so far this week, and Trent beats me 24-0.
What was that? I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
24-0, curse over Coleman, so 3-2, and then I beat Trent 13-11. D.D. Westbrook over 11. So the consistency was there, as I was saying. And then Julius Thomas tops Ricky Seals-Jones, who I like Ricky Seals-Jones. If you need a tight end later on in the year, I mean, Blaine Gabbert seems to like him. He's got good hands. He's a wide receiver in college at the Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M.
So before he gets sidetracked too much, there you see our optimal lineup last week would have netted you 95 points, which again, out of 6 players, that's exactly, I was about to say exactly 15, but it's actually way more than 15, right?
Yeah,
75 would be 15.
So, okay, there's 6 there, and I had 4 of them. Okay, good, just pointing that out.
All that matters, sir.
That's my point. I've still had some good picks. All right. Trent, you ready to do this? The first
All
ever.
right. So this is a first ever. Again, if you're new to the show, the way these picks work, it's called the Fantasy Football Apocalypse because we're not here to tell you to play your superstars. We are here to find those bottom of the barrel guys that can help you through injuries. I was going to say bye weeks. There's no more bye weeks now, but say who got hurt this week? I know there were some injuries. Throw out a name of an offensive player that got hurt. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor. If he was your quarterback, he made the playoffs. That's very impressive. If you need a replacement for Tyrod Taylor, we're going to find them for you by picking players that are owned in 50% or less of Yahoo leagues. So
Gronk.
Now,
Suspended.
Gronk, suspended. There you go. So you're going to want to replace Gronk. He's a huge part of your lineup. Listen to our tight end picks. Now, you guys are going to see the way the draft works. I won, so I have the first pick. I have the option of picking any position I want to. The board is wide open. After that, Jeremy will pick 2, then I'll pick 2, all the way down until there's 1 pick left, and I'll make the last pick. That's kind of how this will work. That's how we do it every week. So this is the first time doing it live. I guess I should open the fantasy app so I can actually look at the players, huh?
You want me to pick first?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Juju suspended.
Oh, yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster got suspended as well. That's another guy. So we're going to go to players, all players. And we're going to look at the percent.
I like how Trent's announcing it. And I scrolled past Andy Dalton. There's Randall Cobb. Okay, he's a little too high.
So Case Keenum, one of Jeremy's picks last week, is now up to 65%. So he is no longer available. However, I can tell you who is available.
Uh-oh.
You know where I'm going, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
How about a guy coming off a 30-point effort Josh McCown, Sam Houston's finest. Let's go.
Josh.
I don't even care if he does well. I just want to pick Josh McCown. So there you go. My first pick on the board, Josh McCown is my QB.
All right. Well, I'm not ready, so talk a little bit more about him.
All right, Josh McCown. How's this for a fun fact? So obviously Eli Manning gets benched last week, right, Jeremy?
Correct.
So the final game before he took over as a starter was the New York Giants versus the Arizona Cardinals in 2004. Kurt Warner started for the Giants. Do you know who started for the Cardinals in that game?
Cool. And what year?
2004. The last game Eli did not start for the Giants. Who was the opposing quarterback?
What's his name? The guy from California, David Carr.
No, Josh McCown.
No way!
Yes, Josh McCown started for the Cardinals and beat Kurt Warner in what would turn out to be the last start for 14 years of the Eli Manning era. And here we are.
Dude,
who would have
I
thought
can't believe
Josh
they did that
McCown would still be in the league?
I can't.
Not only starting, having the best year of his career.
That was crazy. All right. Well, moving on. I'm going to go with a couple of interesting picks here.
You want to name any of them who you're thinking about? Make this interesting to watch, Jeremy?
I'm going to go with the Chronicles of Theodore Riddick. I like.
Jeremy's going with the running backs. He's going to leave the quarterbacks alone. Interesting.
Well, you've already picked one, so I might as well, save mine. It's called Strategy. I'm going with Theo Riddick. I'm hoping Abdullah doesn't play again, but Riddick had 17, had a good game against a red matchup. So he's got a yellow matchup, a high yellow matchup. So I like it. I think Riddick does well again. And my pick after that, because I go again.
You go again.
Ooh, this is risky. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Marquise Goodwin, baby.
Ooh, nice. I was thinking about Goodwin. 8 catches for 99 yards last week.
Yes, 8 for 99. Jimmy G's favorite target. He's fast. He's young. He's got good hands. He's a speedster, and he's got a green matchup. So I'm going with Marquise.
I don't know what that was, but more importantly, Marquise Goodwin also went to the University of Texas. So thank you for picking a Longhorn, Jeremy.
Thank you for picking RSJ last week.
Yeah, well, hopefully this works out about as well as that did for me, which is to say not very. How about this? I just noticed something when I was looking at the players. Alvin Kamara is 97% owned. I want to play in a league in the 3% he's not owned. That's the league I want to be in.
Like, come on.
Alvin Kamara has been 24 points or higher 5 consecutive weeks.
First round pick next year because Mark Ingram won't be there and he's going to just do even better.
Yeah. But that's a side note. As far as my actual pick, how about this? Jets, Jets. Matt Forte still sitting at 37%.
I almost got him
back. I'll do it again. Matt Forte is going to be my first running back.
Remember, we should go back to other shows and I want to see you bashing Matt Forte.
Oh, relentlessly. Mercilessly.
Yeah, exactly.
I compared him to the zombies in the background picture of our show.
You did. All right, Forte, baby, he's back. All right.
That was that week. Things have changed.
I like that pick. I almost went with him, but you got another one, don't you?
Yeah, I do. So looking at some running backs available, Tariq Cohen's got a top 10 matchup. Jonathan Stewart, not picking him. He's got the Vikings, who are the best run defense in the league, so definitely not picking Stewart. Devontae Booker's got a bad matchup. Mike Gillislee, R.I.P. Don't know what happened there.
Mike Gillislee is dead.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, dead.
He died. It was crazy. And they didn't even talk about it. You know what it must have been? It must have been he must have been at the Vegas shooting because the media's not talking about that either. Oh.
Oh my God, Brad! One shot, please.
The the
The
final.
views and opinions expressed by Jeremy Scott do not necessarily reflect those of the Fantasy Football Apocalypse, his co-host or the producer of this show. Thank you.
Hey,
And
I
on
just-
that note, I have found my second running back. How about this, Jeremy? 10% owned. Mike Davis of the Seattle Seahawks, coming off a 13-point effort. I'll just read you the headline. Mike Davis dominated backfield snaps in Week 13. Had 101 yards his last start, which was 2 weeks ago.
He looked good. I
Seahawks,
saw him out there running too. Like some of his jukes, he did look good.
Seahawks might finally have a running back this year, so I'm going with Mike Davis.
I don't care who wins MVP. The most valuable player in the league is Russell Wilson.
So I was actually thinking about this
crazy.
too. The way I see it, there are. What'd you say, Brad? So I was gonna say there are 7 names that I feel are in the MVP conversation. Okay, Jeremy. I think we can safely say the MVP will be one of these 7 individuals: Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers from 0-5 to now being tied for first place.
The
Can't overlook Phillip
anti-Chiefs.
Rivers. Antonio Brown having possibly his best year on a team that's just lost 3 games. And then my 6th and 7th, how about Case Keenum and Jared Goff? How about that? Did I miss anybody? Because I don't even think you can put Breeze in it this year. So I'd say those
Alvin
7 are
Kamara.
the guys. Alvin Kamara can't be the MVP. Rookie of the year, absolutely. But he's not the most valuable player.
You think Deshaun Watson still has a chance to win it?
No, the injuries completely derailed him.
Thanks, Brad laughed. Thank you.
Yeah.
Trent,
I mean,
Trent
it's not really that crazy of a
literally.
question. He threw 19 touchdowns and 7 starts.
Yeah, but
It's not that
still
crazy of a
good.
question.
All right, moving on. Trent's literal self. Who did you pick, Trent? So you picked both running backs?
Yeah, I picked Forte and Mike Davis.
All right. So my pick.
Your pick.
All righty. I'm gonna go with a man who I've picked a few times, and Tyler Croft.
Ooh,
I
tight end. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm jumping on that before you can snag him. Croft, I picked him a few times. He's done better for me than he has not. So going with him, and my second. Wait, you've already picked a running back. So my second wide receiver is going to be this guy who plays for
Jeremy, read the names you're considering. My gosh.
DD Westbrook. Let's roll the dice and go with them again. Going with some DD. Boomer Sooner. You know I love these young Sooners, Brad. I've picked Samaje a bunch of times. I've never picked Mixon. Actually, I may have picked Mixon one time. But I was very anti-Mixon.
I don't think Mixon's ever been under 50%.
He might have been, because he didn't do anything early on. But you can put a one shot on me. I'll talk about Mixon all day.
All right.
So Mixon, he made your.
I really don't want to hear your opinions on Joe Mixon and specifically his past and things that may have happened in college. Don't want to get into that subject at all.
Yeah, that was a scary rabbit. Scary rabbit hole.
Oh my God! Okay, I am locked and loaded. I have 2 wide receiver picks ready to go.
Oh, all right. I might as well give you my last running back too, but I guess
wait. So let's see. I picked Josh McCown. I picked Matt Forte. Let's complete the trifecta. Jermaine Kearse, 46% owned. Let's run it back. I'll do that again. And then, just to rub it in, I think this guy's actually going to have a big game this week, coming off his 0-point effort for Jeremy. I'm going with Corey Coleman this week, who are playing the Green Bay Packers, 4th most points allowed to wide receivers. So my 2 receivers, Kearse and Corey Coleman.
Did you watch the Browns game? Did you watch any of it? It was like,
why would I put myself through that?
So because I'm the biggest Josh Gordon fan in the world, and you know why? Brad, you
By the
were
way,
playing the league
I
as well.
legit started Josh
Yeah.
Gordon in our league, and
Good
he
for
scored
you.
12 points as my flex. That's
Oh,
pretty good.
and he should have had more than that. I mean,
God.
John Kaiser,
Kaiser airmailed him on 2 touchdowns.
dude, was it 16 targets? What did he
No,
end
it
with?
was 12. It was 12.
I mean, there was a time where he was just throwing him the ball, and Josh Gordon was just like, he like won't throw me the ball to where I could catch it. He's so
Josh
bad,
Gordon's like,
man.
even Brandon Whedon could at least get it to me.
Dude, I
Kaiser
promise
can't
you,
even get it to him.
I'll take Gordon and Kamara as my first 2 picks next year, straight up. Like, I don't even care. You give me the first pick in the draft, I'll take Josh Gordon. Second pick, I'll take Kamara. It's so good to have him back in the league.
Let's just hope he can stay on the right track this time.
Do you realize he also sold cars?
Yeah.
The guy's my
He
hero.
sold football for 3 years. He had to do something for money.
Oh, the guy's my hero. All right. So my final running back pick of the week is Aaron Jones, a guy who's been injured. He had 1 carry last week for 20 yards and a touchdown. He's too good to not get carries. Him and Jamal Williams were going to be splitting carries, and why not? I think he'll get some. He's got off potential. And Trent, that wraps up the final.
Well, that wraps up your picks. I still need to pick a tight end. And how about this? No Tyrod Taylor? I don't care. I'm picking Charles Clay with Nathan Peterman throwing him the ball. I've already won anyway. What does it matter? He's got a top 10 matchup.
Respect.
By the way, Nathan Peterman came in on Sunday after Tyrod got hurt.
Yeah.
Managed to not throw any picks. However, he goes 6 for 15 with 50 yards. That is a 40% completion rate with 3.3 yards per attempt.
Trent, so I have McCoy, and you know how it is. If McCoy got 10 more yards, a touchdown, whatever. If he would have got that, they're on the 1 yard line. I'm not making this up. I just sit down and I watch Red Zone all day, so I get to see everything. So they're on the 1 yard line. It's 1st and goal. I'm not making this up. Peterman is in the game. McDermott calls shotgun, pass. I'm like, all right, whatever. First play, okay. Second play, pass. Third play, pass. Fourth play, they don't kick a field goal, they go for it. They pass it! They run a fade to Zay Jones. He overthrows it. 0 for 4. Like he's Aaron freaking Rodgers, man. I was so pissed off, and that literally is one of the things that kept me out of the playoffs, among others. But what can you do? McDermott is a jack-A, dude. I want to literally go to Buffalo, find out where he lives, and egg the heck out of his house, man.
Yeah, McDermott has something with Nathan Peterman. I don't know what it is, but he clearly.
I got a couple guesses. My goodness.
Please don't tell us what they are. I really don't want to know.
Just read a couple of Hollywood articles. You have an idea.
All right, so let's quickly run back.
Deflategate has a whole other meaning with him. Oh, man. All right, boys.
Let's run back through our picks, Jeremy, just so everyone knows who we got. So my lineup, I've got Josh McCown as my quarterback. My 2 running backs are Matt Forte and Mike Davis. My 2 wide receivers are Jermaine Kearse and Corey Coleman.
Kearse, right?
Jermaine Kearse and Corey Coleman. And then my tight end will be Charles Clay.
Okay. My quarterback was – wait a second. I'm switching mine, actually. I didn't pick a quarterback yet. I didn't, did I?
I did you?
No. Let's go. I'm going with Jameis Winston.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Woo!
Famous Jameis. At running back, I got famous Aaron Jones. And then who's my other one? I didn't pick Forte. I passed him up. Oh, Riddick. Famous Theo Riddick. And then I got Marquise Goodwin at wide receiver. Which I really like.
He's not famous. Marquise Goodwin isn't famous.
Nah, dude, he's a rookie. Are you kidding me?
He's not a rookie. He's in his 6th year.
Marquise Goodwin?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I know. I was hoping Trent didn't catch it. He did it. All right. Who's my other wide receiver? D.D. Westbrook, and tight end Tyler Croft. So, I'm afraid that does it.
Yep.
Trent, it's been a heck of a season, good win. I'm looking forward to next year. We'll have a little bit more structure, a little bit more internet, and a little bit more professionalism. I want to apologize on behalf of my coworkers.
Of all people, can you promise more professionalism?
I take full responsibility because the leader always does. And
when did you become the leader?
So I take the fall for that. No, but anyway, everybody who's listening.
Moves one last time.
How does it keep moving? Everyone, I'd like to thank you for watching. And Trent, I hate you. I'm glad you didn't make the playoffs in Yahoo as well.
Possibly hate me more than I hate you in this moment.
Isn't that like a Blue October song?
Oh my God, the show's completely gone off the rails. I think we.
All right, well, no. We gotta have some couple final parting words as I move the camera back. Trent, so as a final victory speech, what do you got for us?
Didn't we do this earlier in the show?
Well, yeah, but now that our picks are here, wish producer Brad would come on and stop being a.
Yeah, hey Brad, can you come on real quick and say something to the people? It's the last show.
Hello there. How is
He's
everybody?
not on.
He doesn't want to show his webcam. He turns his mic on.
That's exactly what you just said.
I just want to say
Brad,
thank you
thank you for doing a show with us this year.
Yeah, thank you to you guys. And thank
Actually,
you to all
the
viewers.
graphics are great.
And I just want to let you know I would have beat you guys every week had I gotten to pick before you. I had to pick after you and pick up your crumbs.
Yeah, you're like a shrimp from the bottom of a bottom feeder. That's the word.
Exactly.
I couldn't think of what a shrimp was. A bottom feeder. There you go.
All right.
I don't even. Talking about bottom feeders with you cannot go anywhere good. So I'm just trying to move on from that.
We'll see you next year. Peace out.
Oh God, we'll see you.
Happy fantasy.